Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is D-Free, and for today's video we're going to be talking about the most recent controversy in the community for Dragon Ball Legends. So hope you guys enjoy. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and let me know how you guys feel about all this down below in the comment section. No background music for this one. Also fairly early in the morning for me if I sound kind of muffled or whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to talk a little quiet. Anyways, that being said, again, let me know what you guys think about it. So they did put out a new video here for the 50 million users worldwide celebration. So the only news in here really is that we're getting a free legendary Super Saiyan Broly. There's a purple one that's coming out. Pretty cool to see. They do tell you his tags. They tell you a little bit about him. Get Z power from co-op or PvP rewards. That almost sounds a little bit like there's an acquisition, but it almost sounds a little bit like an Ultra character based on that wording there. I don't think it is one, obviously, because I think they would have said, but it seems like a similar acquisition method to the Ultra characters, right? So there is an event here as well for the family Kamehameha. This is another event. I believe this is the second one, in fact, that they've done like this, where you can play the event and get a copy of the Legends Limited character. This time around it is Goten. You guys probably can't see this all too great, but it's just an event banner. There's nothing serious here. Check out on their official Twitter if you want to. You can get a copy of Goten. So again, this is the first Legends Limited event like this since SS3, I believe, came out way back when. That was back in like April or whatever, March. Speaking of which, since SS3 was the last one, we're now getting another Legends Limited character, Zenkai. This time around, it'll be none other than Goten. So all right, that's all they really announced here for part one of the celebration. They do say part two is going to have that new update that we covered a few days ago on the channel. The community is very, 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 very conflicted about this. Meta hybrid synergy drive. All right, so let me just say this, man. And I'm going to I asked the homie if I could go through some of his replies because he put out a community tweet on this topic. I'm going to go through some of Goresh's tweet responses as well. Shout out to my boy. Let me just say this, man. So really the real thing is anytime hybrids or Sun Family gets anything ever, people are going to, oh, wow, another Sun Family buff. Oh, wow, another hybrid buff. And, you know, that stems from the fact that LF Gohan, the original LF Gohan, got his Zenkai. And, you know, he obviously is still incredibly terrorizing to this day, and I don't know if he's coming up on a year yet, but he's quite old as a Zenkai, maybe like 7-8 months, something like that. I don't know. Quite old as a Zenkai, and he's still at the pinnacle of power, right? So a lot of people are still really pissed off about that. Now, that's not all though. You do talk about the fact that Sun Family / hybrids have other characters that are really good, like these Zenkai versions of Goku, most notably SS3 purple, or green, excuse me. Purple's good, but green is the one where it's like, okay, some people were like thinking he wasn't going to be that great. I know myself, I was like, he's pretty good. And then eventually I was like, you know what? This dude is actually a menace. Like, he's ridiculous. So there's that too. And then we talk about as well the fact they even got stronger Legends Limited characters like the purple and yellow future Gohan as well. So you have two Gohan Legends Limited characters that are really good. You take a look at the rest of the grouping for hybrids. Long story short, there's some really powerful characters in here. There's some weak spots in the roster overall, but it doesn't really matter when you have those three Gohans spearheading this grouping, right? So long story short, with hybrids, and then we take a look at with Sun Family, you have so many strong characters that anytime anything comes out, people are going to automatically be really pissed off at it. And again, I understand why, as I just explained, because they have been, and always, for the record, just understand this, they always will be. That's the thing. They always will be really, really good and really relevant in this game because, I mean, you're talking about the main characters in the series. I mean, there's another family group, right? But it'll never really, really be as good as this family group because this is the real main character of the series and his sons, right? So, like, it just kind of is what it is. So could they balance the game better? Is it a PvP game that they need to balance better? Obviously, right? Obviously, you can go down a bunch of different avenues on the topic, but it's always going to be this. So really set up the expectation in your mind that, hey, Sun Family is always going to be monstrous, right? Or hybrids as well, because you have these characters that are going to continue to come out over time. Now, here's my personal opinion on it. Given everything I said, personally, I mean, at this point, Goten getting a Zenkai, like, I don't really care. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like there's only so much overkill you can really do. Like, he has that unique ability, and some I believe it's built into the ultimate as well. Like, some buffs for Gohan throughout his kit. Like, that's all obviously stuff to be concerned about. But for me, it's just like, dude, like, you can only do so much overkill, if that makes sense to you. Like, it's just like, all right, purple, purple, red hybrids, or purple, purple, red, yellow hybrids, whatever you're doing, right? Obviously, you can only take 3 of them, so you have to choose what you're doing, but like those are your 4 main characters because you don't want to forget about future Gohan. He's a character like SS3, LFSS3, when he got his Zenkai. It's like, okay, Gohan was really good, and it's like, wait a minute, this is actually disgusting. Like, Gohan is disgusting, this future Gohan. So yeah, you don't want to forget him, but like purple, purple, red, if you have to do that, fine, whatever, right? Like, you have the utility of revive, you got characters that'll just blow your face off. Goten is going to be like, even if the thing about Goten is like, even if they handle his Zenkai in a tame way, right, he's still going to be ridiculous because of the fact he directly buffs some of the best characters in the entirety of the game. He's got some limitations built into his kit, like his ultimate buff needing to be on a full Super Saiyan 1 team on his main ability, stuff like that. They're going to get rid of that probably when he gets his Zenkai, just to make him more usable. He's a Legends Limited Zenkai character, meaning you need to have him at 7-star minimum, so he's obviously got to feel premium, so he's going to be good. He's not going to be following the trend, I imagine, of the most recent Zenkai characters that are kind of subpar. He has to feel good. He has to be premium to some degree because, again, he is a Legends Limited Zenkai character. And, you know, really the only one that, I guess, out of that grouping of Legends Limited Zenkai characters that's kind of a little bit underwhelming would be, what, Beerus at this point? Because he's so old, right? Beerus is still pretty good. He has some pretty good stuff in his kit. Like a Goten is trending here. Gohan is trending as well, obviously. This is hilarious. I know why they're trending. Anyways, there's only a few, though, Legends Limited Zenkais in the first place. Maybe Piccolo, right? Maybe Piccolo's the worst one. I don't know. Depends who you ask, right? So, like, they're going to make them feel good, though, because the top brass is 2 Gokus and a Gohan, right? So Goten is the logical next choice in terms of the release because he's the oldest one without a Zenkai. So that being said, in terms of what was going to happen, it just made the most sense that it was Goten. Now, in terms of the meta viability, should they have done Goten now? No. Is it bad timing? Yes. Could they have done Goten at a better time? Obviously. What would that better time have been? They go through cycles in this game, right? They release characters for groups after group after group. They don't consistently say, oh, here's one Sun family character, here's a Vegeta family character, here's a movies character, here's a powerful opponent character. So sometimes there's going to be like some bleed through, like Saiyans and the family teams. If it's a Goku or Vegeta, you get the point. But they always kind of go in chunks. So they typically, like, just for example, we're coming off one. GT got a bunch of new characters. They still just got another couple characters. They typically go in chunks. And again, there's some bleed through, like the movies Gohan. He's a hybrid as well, but movies as well. There's bleed through. But typically, I think hybrids is on its way out. But that being said, there was a period where hybrid could have used the Goten Zenkai, and people wouldn't have really complained about it as much. The thing is, since the red Gohan's been Zenkai'd, people are going to complain about anything and everything that comes out for this team because they just feel like it's overpowered, and again, for good reason. No matter what happens to that team, anything that happens will get complained about. Even if he doesn't even somehow buff Sun Family in any way, he's going to, obviously, but if he didn't, they'd still complain about it. That's how bad it is with the Gohan situation. So yeah, maybe pre-LF Zenkai for Gohan would have been the best choice. But since then, there have been a couple of periods, like when the Transforming Goten and Trunks came out, they were coming off a period where Hybrid still was really, really devoid of options. And still Hybrids, like, at that point got, like, the Transforming Goten and Trunks, and they got the Gohan Transforming, I believe, came out around that same time. And they kind of left them alone for a long period of time. And they're kind of circling back after the release of Future Gohan. They've steadily got some options, like they got the Trunks in Mai, like they've slowly got some stuff, right? So really, there hasn't been a great time recently for this. But if we look at the rest of the eligible Zenkai characters for Legends Limited characters, right? Who would be the next most logical choice? I mean, the non-Zenkai characters are pretty much everyone but Goku, Blue, the green SS3, the Beerus, the Gohan, and the yellow Piccolo. The rest of them all need Zenkais. The oldest ones are Vegito, who I think you could argue reliably that Fusion's getting a Zenkai character would be great for that team, but also could be just almost as equally as cancerous because Fusion's is a very top-end talent character grouping, right? They've got some really good characters in that team. So if you take a look at Fusion's overall, we take a look at Fusion Warrior. They got some really good stuff here. It's not anywhere near comparable to Sun Family getting a Zenkai. I don't mind that. But it still would be something I don't necessarily want to see in terms of the viability of competitive play, right? But they need it probably to be relevant versus these teams that are laden with a bunch of Zenkais. But in terms of just the landscape of the game and the team construction, I think they're fine as currently constructed. And then you have SS Blue Green Vegeta. I don't want to see him get one. Future could use it, sure, but he's got a lock and he got these crazy buffs, and he's just a character that just would be really mega cancerous with the Zenkai. So I really don't want to see it happen, honestly, ever. Frieza. So the next thing is, if it wasn't Goten, Lineage of Evil could have been the grouping that deserves it the most, and they are slowly putting out some Lineage of Evil content, so I'm kind of surprised. Like Frieza Force kind of content, I'm surprised they kind of didn't go here. It would have made the most sense. It would have fit the theme a little better, but I don't know what the logic was with Goten in particular, but this team needs it the most. So out of all the options, I mean, then you start looking at things like Majin Vegeta, Vegito Blue. Like, these are characters that are still really good, and characters I don't want to see Zenkai anytime soon. So really it's just Vegito, Frieza, and Goten, and Blue Vegeta that are the oldest here, that would be the ones quote-unquote deserving it based on age and power creep, etc. And Frieza's the clear-cut best deserving character because he's pretty good still, but he's the one that would need it the most. And the problem is Goten would be the one that would need it the most because he's the oldest. Obviously, he predates the 1 year anniversary. That's how old he is. But he would slide into a team that doesn't need him, for the record, right now, and would just be even more cancerous. So let's see if some of the things people are saying. Personally, like I said, I feel like there's just too much overkill, but I do understand why people are. You can only have so much overkill. Like, I just think, long story short, he's going to make the team better, but it's not like, I don't think they're going to be any crazier to play against than they are now. Like, that's the thing. Like, it can only go so far. Like, that's how I feel about it. I think the triple Gohan variant is just, it's ridiculous enough. Like, I don't even know if Goten went to being core at that point, because I think those three are so good. It just depends what happens with Goten. And even if he is core, so what? Like, I don't think it changes too much. Like, it just is what it is. And one thing to consider with Goten is, if you don't want to run purple, this dude and Goten are directly opposite playstyles. They're kind of introducing a little bit more of a dichotomy in playstyle between blast and strike variants of Sun Family that may just be yellow, purple, red for more of a strike variant, and this Gohan makes it on the either variant, even if he is a blast-based character. And then purple, red here, and then you maybe look at other options like transforming Goten or future Gohan probably still for more of a blast-based Z ability team. Like, they're kind of producing a little bit more of a dichotomy there, which you can argue may be a good thing. All right, so are you guys blind or something? Can't you see hybrids are everywhere in the meta right now? The last thing this game needed was a hybrid Zenkai, and that too, you guys are giving Z power to make him easily accessible. It's probably going to, for the record, be just a 2-star variant, like just an unlock amount, not anything crazy. But yeah, hybrids are very, very relevant in the meta. Did they need a Zenkai? No. That's the clear-cut takeaway from this, right? They don't need it. Imagine me this out of touch with your game. Sure, you're just feeding the best tag in the game when even more units of Zenkais. Again, they did not need it. Are you insane, DBL? These are just responses to the regular DBL. I haven't even used Garushes. Are you trying to stop the player base to play this game? We know Zenkai at Legends Limited is good, but at least check the teams who still need colors. God Key need non-LF red. Well, this is a different topic, really. This is a Zenkai. This isn't a new character release. I mean, there are groupings that need colors, right? And also Fusions, I think, just got a good purple. Like, yeah, this guy makes the argument right there. Why is this hidden? Oh, this is a responses to hiddens, I guess. I don't know. The most useless unit to give a Zenkai rival Gohan won't be replaced. Another hybrid is not what we needed. See, like, this is part of it too. I wonder how many people have this idea that it's not an additive thing. Like, I think a lot of people are looking at it in multiple ways. I think some people are looking at it more in like it's an additive thing where it's like, oh, hybrids are getting, and this is what I talked about for a while. No matter what happens, they kind of always look at it as an additive thing, even if it doesn't directly mesh with hybrids or Sun Family, or it's not needed, it's duplicative. Like, I don't know, like, people just see them getting new characters and instantly jump to, oh, they're getting a buff, and it's like, okay, well, maybe you don't even run it. But the thing is, Goten is an interesting character because of the fact he has things built into his kit directly set to support Gohan. Now, what if they change those things to being Sun Family exclusive or hybrid Saiyan exclusive, to where it's not just Gohan specifically, right? That could be something we need to wait and see. That would probably change some of the opinion on Gohan. But again, you do have another purple character, and not everybody wants to run double purple, so we'll see how that winds up being. But again, you can make the argument either way that this almost doesn't really matter if you have Revived Gohan, unless you want to run more of a blast variant, like I just said, right? So that's not the argument I'm making, but I can understand why people would make that argument. Why Goten? Why another hybrid and Sun Family buff? Like literally just said that. That's a perfectly good option for a purple Legends Limited Zenkai, and his name was Super Vegito. I think if you look at the three that are remaining, Frieza's the clear-cut one, but I wouldn't argue Goten over Vegito. Vegito deserves it more. I mean, they don't go based on age, right? Because if they went based on age, which people thought for a long time, but it's been clearly debunked, if they went based on age, we would have characters like IT Goku or Green Bardock getting a Zenkai, and we just don't. And they've purposely avoided doing those character Zenkais. Can you stop dick riding hybrids? Yeah. We're getting a new Broly. We already talked about that. Incredible, you guys really want to kill the game. Why Zenkai Goten with the most predominant team in the meta is right now is hybrids. Literally makes no sense. Yes, we talked about that. Why Goten? These are the characters available here. Like I said, the other, he doesn't have the other. He doesn't have Goten at 7-star. That sucks. He's quite old though. He's not really on that many banners anymore. That seals the deal. Oh, this is one of those copy pastas. Not reading it. You guys are dense, giving Goten a Zenkai. You don't know what the community wants. So I think a large portion of the community really wanted Frieza to get a Zenkai. And they've wanted Frieza to get a Zenkai, quite honestly, for a while. Ever since they did that teaser video, people were on the mindset that every character that pops up in these videos on like jump pages or whatever, it's going to be any character they're using is going to get a Zenkai immediately thereafter. Now the thing about that is it's been debunked because Frieza was in one like 8 months ago or something, like I don't know what it was, but he hasn't got a Zenkai yet. Around the time Metal Cooler got a Zenkai, but instead they Zenkai'd Goku. It wasn't 8 months ago, maybe like 5 months ago. Either way, people are in the mindset that anything that pops up is going to get a Zenkai, right? So that being said, so if that's the case, then that's no longer the case, right? So people have wanted it to happen for Frieza though for a long time though. Long story short. We're reading some aggressive replies. Sun Fam and Hybrid Saiyans. We need Vegeta family buffs. This is always going to be the case for the record. I've always seen people say this since the beginning of the... I don't think Vegeta family was a launch tag. Sun Family might not have been either. But ever since it was added... Freaking alarm going off. Ever since it was added, people have said this. Vegeta family needs more. They'll always, like I said earlier, they'll always need more because they're never going to be what Sun Family is. It's just never going to happen. If you can't tell by now, 3 years into the game, it's just not going to happen, right? They'll get some cool stuff, obviously, but it's just not going to happen. Awful game design. Hybrids needed the Zenkai. I was starting to think they were neglecting the tag. Okay. Zenkai LF Goten is good, but it's not the right time. That's the main thing I wanted to kind of convey in the beginning of the video, but I might have took too long to get to it. The thing is, Goten needs a Zenkai. Goten deserves a Zenkai. But the problem is, now is not the time. But the real question is, when was the time? Like I said, they haven't had a great time, really, since Gohan got a Zenkai. They really have not had a good time to release Goten. That wouldn't have been crazy and wouldn't have dominated the meta. Like, that's the thing. And the problem is there won't be a right time. Even if they cycle off of hybrids, like I was saying, they do things in cycles. Even if they cycle off of hybrids, and let's say 4 to 6 months from now they give Goten a Zenkai, it still won't be the right time. The team will still be busted. It may not be the most dominant team in the game. It may not be the most team you see in every match, but it still wouldn't be the quote-unquote right time for the community. That's the point. Like, it just can't happen anymore. There is no right time. The right time was pre-Zenkai for Gohan, right? And then even then, Gohan gets his Zenkai and you still have the same problem, but at least Goten would have, it would have been a little different perception. I guess we knew this was coming, so now I'm laughing. I'm waiting for Super Vegito. Yeah, whenever that is. Surprised he hasn't gotten his yet, to be honest. Uninstall. I mean, like, yeah, sure, a unit, he needs one, but the team sure as hell was far from needing it. Yeah, that's why I said, are you guys looking at the team as being let me know what you guys are thinking. Are you looking at it as being like an additive thing on top of, oh, they're getting all these characters? Are you like, oh, it's something different, right? Let me know. The game has been effing up ever since the year started, and they have yet to do one thing. Yeah, they're kind of just bleeding everybody dry at this point. With all the LFs and Zenkais, it's kind of like ridiculous. What's your thoughts on them nerfing units in the game to make them more balanced? They're not doing that. They should, but they're not going to do that. They do tell you that they can do it at their own discretion, but they're not going to do that. I have that on good info that's not something they even are considering doing because they don't want to do that. But they can do it if they want to. But unless things change, I've heard directly from some people that it's not going to happen. He needed a Zenkai, but this got to be the worst possible time. That's okay. So I guess the worst possible time is an argument because they just got a Gohan, the other Gohan, right? So really, it's not this is probably the worst possible time. But I can make the argument, and this is not me defending them, I can make the argument they thought now is a good time because there is another purple hybrid, right? Now, they don't look at it as, oh, these characters are all going to be Zenkai buffed, and so they don't look at it like that. The Zenkai buff wasn't really designed to work that way. It works that way, but it wasn't designed with that intention of people running 3 Zenkai buffers on the team. That's something we kind of just did as a community and producing of videos, right? That's kind of how things were, but that's not really how it was designed to be used. So that being said, it works like that, but that's not what their intention was, if that makes sense. So they're not looking at it like that. So they might have thought maybe this is a good time because there's another purple character here. And if you look at what they're doing with GT, now this is not comparable from a quality of unit case, but if you look at what they're doing with GT, they said, here's a yellow blue duo. Really, we're just going to erase the fact that SS4 Goku came out. Here's Ice and Nova that are yellow and blue. Nova is Strike. Ice is more of a blast character. And then here's Goku and Oob, who are yellow and blue as well, but they're flipping the coloring, or they're flipping the typing. Here's your blue character that's a strike-based character. Here's your blast character that's a yellow character in Oob. Again, maybe they thought now is a good time because it's purple and they just got the melee Gohan and stuff like that, but they're underrating or not considering the fact that the red Gohan is such a menace. I think most people will still say he's the best character in the game. Some people would say 18 is better. Some people will say LFSS3 is better. Those are the top 3 characters in the game right now, though. Either way, though, he's so good that you're putting him on either variant of the team, and I've never understood this. For whatever reason, they gave this dude the ability to support allies. Like, why does he buff? Right here it is. Applies the following effects to allies per Hybrid Saiyan or Sun Family battle member other than this character when they enter the battlefield. 30% Ki recovery for 20 counts and 20% to blast damage. That's as respectively if you have 2 characters, right, that are other than Gohan, you have all 3 battle members, 60% Ki recovery and 40% blast damage. You compare anybody with this guy and they're disgusting, just ridiculous. Why does he do that? Why? For what reason? Why did he need that? Like, what did they think about? Like, why can't that just be exclusive to him? Like, that's one of the more underrated things he's doing. It's like, why does he buff allies? They may not even be a blast-based character, but he makes it for the difference. That's the point. Like, you put him on either team, it doesn't matter. And his damage is a stacking damage, and it's raw damage. Like, he's not really all blast-based stuff. Even though he's a blast character, he's got blast damage here, blast arts cost down, but he's going to do whatever damage he wants to do to you. He's going to rip you apart with strikes too after enough stacks on the blast and stuff like that, right? Plus 20% every time he uses a blast. He's obviously blast based. He's got double blast hell, I believe, too, but he'll just do whatever damage. It doesn't really matter, right? So yeah, he's talking about it there. It's going to work good for me, especially as free to play. Yeah, I guess if you're a free to play player, then that's good for you, especially if you need a lot of hybrid help like this guy does. I mean, he's got 2 of the best characters, so he doesn't really need that much help. I guess I just looked at the back half. Purple Vegito gets aired for Zenkai Part 3. I don't care about Vegito, bro. This is the worst thing they could have done. Hybrids now. Purple. See, this is why I said this is more of the additive idea. Purple, red with the 2 Gohans, the Goten, who supports Gohans. Yeah, so like I talked about, Goten, I think a huge part of why people are mad, we're going to wrap up soon, is because Goten, I can't find him in here. He's so old and power level so power crept. He's the part of the reason why people are so mad is because he has those things in his kit that directly support Gohan characters. DBL devs team need to acknowledge the existence of other tags in the game. I mean, they just came off of buffing GT endlessly after GT didn't get buffed for literally a year. Whatever they're going to with this Goten is not going to be balanced. Either they need to neutralize the power creep by bringing more obtainable anti-Sun Family or anti-Hybrid characters. I mean, they did just bring out Gokua. Anti-Sun Family is not very common, but you have more of an anti-Saiyan thing going with like Frieza and some powerful opponent characters. They could produce more, but the thing is that it wouldn't matter to the large extent that people are still going to run these teams. You can be cute and run anti-meta if you want, but the meta team is still going to dominate the majority of the matches. Terrible timing after this guy Zenkai. I can see hybrids and Sun Fam just flat out better than every other team. You know what? Let me actually look at it from the perspective of Sun Family. This is the last thing I'll do. I didn't really cover from the perspective of Sun Family exclusively. I mainly stuck to hybrids. I talked about Sun Family briefly, but I didn't cover it here. So Sun Family and hybrids. See, I think he actually is better on Sun Family, because you can do a better blast-based team with him. Oh yeah, this is disgusting. Him, Gohan in SS3. I'm gonna just leave it there. Yeah, that'll be just like, you still, obviously these two Gohans are still really good and they're next best characters on this grouping, easy. But like, him Gohan in SS3 is gonna be disgusting. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, so long story short, the community's pissed. Let me know what you guys think. Have an awesome day, and I'll see all of you in the next one.